This is the Bar Steward's Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
And a very warm welcome to the Bar Steward's Enquiry. This is the York Ebor meeting preview special. This is the podcast that isn't totally shit. And joining me this evening to give you our very best bets for this week, as well as going through all the top action and interesting stats and stuff we might have, it is John Lang and Andy Richmond. Good evening, chaps.
Good evening.
Evening, Lee. Evening.
We're ready. I can honestly say this is one of the best Ebor meetings in memory in terms of depth of quality, lots of good racing, and certainly my three bets. I'm as confident as I've ever been going into a York festival, with the clerk of the course, William Darby, producing some fantastic, lush, good to firm ground. Nice going stick reading of 7.3 today. We might get 4 millimetres of rain tonight. That's probably more likely than not. But the good thing is, the clerk himself has stated that if the rain doesn't materialise, he'll put 2 millimetres on in the morning just to freshen it up. If the rain does arrive, then he won't have to do anything. So what a refreshing clerk we've got in William Darby compared to the idiots at Newmarket and Sandown that we have to put up with most of the summer. Anyway, that's for another show. We're going to go on to best bets straight away, and I'm intrigued what you two's come up with. This is our home meeting, and we can't let punters down. Andy, I'm coming to you first of all for your third best bet of the week.
Right, okay. Well, we're going to go... We do love a handicap, and they're all in handicaps. All my bets are in handicaps. I do like a handicap, although the quality is there. We're going to go to the Clipper Logistics, first of all. Yes. No, not going to be a surprise there, is it? And I think probably people can probably guess which one I'm going to go with, because it's going to be a David O'Mara horse, who was very, very... although he scooped the big mile handicap at Goodwood with Orban, and I think Orban is going to run in this race as well. I'm going to go with Blue For You, who is nicely weighted. He's been a winner waiting to happen all year. He was second of 4 here in a race which probably wasn't run to suit, to be honest with you. That was on the 22nd of July. He's had a couple of looks at this course before. He's also a runner-up here in the 9th of July. But it's the run last time out in the Coral Golden Mile, I should give it its correct title now, which puts him on a different plane. He just didn't get any luck in running there. Often happens when the idiot takes away the cutaway, which should be there all the time at Goodwood. And it was, I think he would have won. Didn't get a clear run. This race sets up perfectly for him. Mr. O'Mara has a very good record in this race as well. He's won 2 of the last 9 renewals. I'm a little bit worried about the draw in 1, but 19 of the last 26 winners were drawn no higher than 11, and 14 of the last 15 winners had a top 3 finish within their last 3 starts. So he fits all the sort of trends and patternsy things. Blue For You, I'll have a point on. I think there was still some 8-1 knocking around with the Entame boys, Coral and Ladbrokes now, but it might have actually gone, but I would take a little bit lower. But a point win, sort of around the 7-1 mark, will do fine. Blue For You in the Clipper Logistics, 3 o'clock on Thursday.
8-1 available with Coral and Ladbrokes, and I totally agree with you, Andy. It's a bit of a plunder. I know one sometimes, and that might not be an advantage for a horse that sort of doesn't ping the lids and get on with it. But nevertheless, you want to be there rather than install 15 or 16. And like you rightly pointed out with the stats, the mile trip is very advantageous for sort of like low figure draws.
Even if you back him, I think you'd probably be able to. If you're of that ilk, you'll be able to trade him quite nicely in running, because he travels like the wrath of God.
Like a travelly thing, yes.
He's one of He's one of 8 entries for this race, where by David O'Mara, so they obviously want to win it, and they, as I say, they've won it a few times as well. So he does target this race, and I think he's certainly worth a point.
Good stuff, John. I'm coming to you for your third best.
My third best is also in a handicap. This is in the Sky Bet Handicap, the first race on Friday, the 150, and it is Lord Protector. Might not get the trip, he's not bred to get it, but he's dropped a few hints that he wants it. Especially so last time when he was finishing to good effect, despite having to wait for a run after being parked wide most of the way in the Chesterfield Cup. Hard to see him not figuring here. I think he's one of few that might be going forward in the race. Doesn't mind some digging the ground, so I'm not even asked if a thunderstorm arrives, although it might upset me for later in the week. Yeah, 1 point win.
Good stuff. 1 point win. Lord Protector.
I've got a positive in my tracker as well from that run at Goodwood to back up John's thoughts there. And like John, I'm just not quite sure about the trip for him. He's got an entry later in the week over 1.25 miles.
I'm saying him again at 1.25 miles with a strong run out.
It's in that last race on Saturday, John, in the Sky Bet finale that he's got an entry. I'd be interested to see where they run him. He's certainly an interesting horse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the train driver in the saddle for Rafe and Ralph, and a juicy 12-1. You definitely 1 point win, John. Yeah, on the nose for John's third best bet, Lord Protector. Both highlighted there by John and Andy in terms of a positive run wherever he turns up. So that's one for you guys there. My third best goes on the Thursday. It's in the sales race, the 225, the big Weatherby's. No, that can't be. That's I'm on Friday. I was looking at the Lonsdale Cup there. Anyway, it's the Goff's yearling race, the £250,000 added sales race, and it's clear to me that Richard Annan is one of the king of the sales races. We've seen this throughout the years, and I think this has been absolutely targeted and laid out for the race. You can tell that with the 95-day absence. They've sidestepped all the festivals. This horse could have run at Ascot, it could have run at Newmarket, it could have run anywhere. Real good physical stamp of a horse, this. I was very impressed with this at Ripon from a physical standpoint. I thought, geez, you have got some bulk and some size about you. The last place I'd have probably took the horse was Ripon. He's beat to Goodwood and Ripon. And the undulations at Ripon, I don't think he liked. He missed the break. He got a little bit hampered at the start. He was always on the back foot. And he came through really strongly under Voltigeur. And no pressure, no whip, no nothing. And really did some really good late sectionals. Broke 11 seconds, did 11 seconds, and then was really strong on top at the finish. And it was a good performance, a real solid performance. And I put it in my notes. I'm thinking this horse could win something nice, maybe listed class even. That's what I was thinking. I thought this horse is a really good horse. And I just find it interesting that they've, like I said, given the horse a break and now bringing it back very fresh into this sales race from an absolute plum draw in stall 7. I think that's a great place to be in a 19-runner field at York. Just you got plenty of options there, and I really think this horse has got a very, very big chance. Yes, I know it's market leader, but I still think the horse's value at 9-2 generally available, and that's where my 1 point win is going for the Yoghurt Cannon and Midland Park Racing to get me off to a flyer. Okay, John, I'm going to swing it back round to you for number 2.
It's a bit boring, really, this, because everybody knows what we think of this horse. This is Solcombe in the Melrose. He was just really unlucky last time, probably out of a 1. Going up £2, I don't think that will matter a jot. I'm not too worried about the trip or anything there. I mean, everybody's seen him. I just think 6-1s are still a very good price about him against these.
Let me just check the prices as we speak. So I want to make sure that we're all on at the best prices. I think we can do a little bit better than that. Could be wrong. You can. I'll say a fair price is I would say 13-2 available with Sky Bet, John. So that's what I'm going to give you for you and that yeah, there is sevens with Coral, but they're that bad. You know, I mean, 13-2 Sky Bet's a fair price. I can see this horse going off a lot shorter, John. Like you say, very unlucky.
I think they're having a far poker against those myself.
Yeah, I think I could see the machine price on the day, sort of around 4.1, 4.2, that kind of price. You're not going to get bigger than that. That's the upside with this bet. You're not going to get any bigger on the day with Solcombe. So you may as well take it now. I know obviously you lose your money if it doesn't run, but it's going to run. So Solcombe, a very good selection from John for his second best at 2 points. Okay, then. Well, I'll just make this a quick round. It's a Claxon. Solcombe is my second best bet of the meet. Obviously, I was people that listen to the show regularly will know I was on the floor at Goodwood. I had a lot of money on this horse at Goodwood in the handicap. It missed the break. It did everything wrong. There's no pace. Secret State is one of the favourites for the Voltigeur. So yeah, it shows you the sort of level of what we're looking at. It'll definitely reverse the form with the third horse in the race, Inverness. It's one of them. You just need a little bit of luck in running. For once in my life this season, it'd be nice to have a dream trip for once, and then start shouting and swinging it around like an helicopter from 3 out as it's absolutely there on the Billy Idol just in behind the front runners making ground. That's what scenario we want, bastards. And it's a Claxon bet, so that's my bet as well. 2 points win at the 13-2 with Sky Bet. I am already on it. I've managed to get the agents on it today, so I won't be afraid to top up if the price does hold throughout the week. So that's where me and John are at. Solcombe for the shirt on Saturday to finish the meeting with a bang, hopefully for me and John. Andy, your second best.
Right, we're going 2-year-old nursery, which is an unusual bet for me, but I was very keen on a horse of the friend of the scaffolder the other week, Have Secret, and I couldn't believe the price this thing went off at Haydock when it won. It had been really unlucky at Pontefract the time before against the pace bias, and the horse that it beat, Indian Dream, was probably the cause of the drift on that day, but I was impressed with the way this one moved through the field. They backed it in the 5-2 favourite. It won the previous race at Epsom at 11-1. Really nicely balanced horse. Actually looked, I mean, it traded 1.2, and at the furlong pole, I thought I'd done me conkers on Have Secret, but Have Secret beat this, and this Indian Dream looks a good horse. He was, finished second there, improved again. That was his nursery debut, showed a really good turn of foot through the middle of the race. He was actually clear until he was collared right late on near the finish. He's off the same mark here. They've managed to run him off the same mark of 82. He's around, I think I wrote the price down, I think he's around about a 6-1 chance. I think that's a really good bet. 2 points on Indian Dream in the 4:45 on Thursday.
Cracking bet. I do like that. 2.6-1. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. Sorry, interesting run of this, because I backed him on debut after getting a tip for him, Andy, and he got beat by I think it was one of the kilts to make me sick. Because
it was one of the kilts.
Yeah,
it was Centre Court that beat him,
and I felt a little bit ill after the race, but I saw the promise in it, and I like the horse physically, and I saw a lot of promise in it, and then he went bananas and pulled. He missed the break and pulled hard and did everything wrong next time out.
That was at Chelmsford on the all weather. He just didn't like it. In fact, he was and then he won at Epsom at 11. It had factored into that run, and then the run at Haydock. I say, if you like your trades as I do, you could trade Blue for You the first one, and I'm sure this will travel. I'm absolutely convinced this will travel. It travelled like an absolute dream at Haydock. Meaning it, and if it acts at Haydock, it means it can act on any ground, because you've probably run on 3 different types of ground in one race there.
a very solid choice, if I may say so. Yes, I really like that selection.
I like the fact because I really like the winner, Have Secret.
I know. Yeah, it was a good tip that the other week for you on the Friday show. Andy put it up for the Sky Bet series.
Unfortunately, it's 3-1, and the bugger went and won at 6s.
Yeah, big drift and no bog for Basti, but that's good for us because we're all trying to catch her in the naps table. So it's win.
I'm going on holiday after this. That's it. I'm quitting for the year and pulling up stamps.
Right, that's it. Try and beat a 40% ROI.
Going to be a no-show.
Yeah. Because you've already qualified. I think I've set it. Everybody, I think it's about 48 points. I've set it.
I've had enough runs, have I? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 48 points. You must.
Or I can do what they do in that story.
Norman can fuck off when he comes off trying to nick it at the end with the.
Yeah, well, somebody be putting something stupid up when they're at 50s.
Yeah. No. You're in pole position and it'd be very difficult to knock off at the moment. But I know Lengy always comes up with these big. I've seen Lengy do it time and time again. 33s. Leng loves the 33s and 50s puck, and I've seen him pull it time after time after time. As long as Franks don't win, because that's all I'm bothered about. Anyway, onto the field goals. This is our best bets of the week, and I'm going to kick us off to get us flying, because this bet in particular is one of my best bets in a long time. I've already sort of staked. I've got the commission people on it. I'm happy at the price at the moment as well. 5:20 York tomorrow. The Sky Bet Nursery Handicap at 19 runner field, and you'll think I've gone mad to say that such a horse is such a good bet. But Streets of Gold of Eve Johnson Houghton. This is just absolutely superb. 8-1. Is available. They're 15-2, 7-1, whatever. But 8-1 in for pod recording purposes. This horse missed the break on debut. Looked quite green, to be fair. If you watch the horse win, I know it didn't probably beat that much, which is why it went off a big price next time when it won again. But the way it did it was so impressive. It just absolutely won. It was trying to hang left, and Charles Bishop was really heavy on his right, on his left hand to stop the horse from hanging left. You could see how green it was. Then at Newmarket last time, Georgia Derby took over, and what's interesting is the race. Really, it was very impressive. Again, I don't think it was all out. It gave a whopping £10 to the runner-up Juliet Sierra. Who very, 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 very big filly, this Juliet Sierra. She bolted up next time. She's also got very big entries. She's entering the Cheveley Park, the Rockville, and the Fillies Mile. Consider the size of Juliet Sierra and the physicalities and everything else. I'm not saying that Juliet Sierra is worse than Streets of Gold in terms of performance. Obviously, Juliet Sierra will improve a lot, but it's strong form. Manitou, the third horse, is very highly regarded of Archie Watson. That went off well fancied on debut, ran to 80. Again, holds the form down. The fifth horse, Tostado, trained by Andrew Balding, beat Cold Case at Chester, by half a length. Well, Cold Case, that's entered in the Gimcrack, the Mill Reef, the Middle Park. This is the real deal. This is off 92, and some people say, well, that's quite a high mark. No, it's not. This horse has entered the Mill Reef, so Eve has put it in the Mill Reef at Newbury on the 17th September. This horse is a really, really good horse. It's going to take plum drawing stall 5. It's going to take a very, very good performance to beat this. I am very confident this horse should be favourite without a shadow of a doubt. This horse should be market leader around the 7-2 mark. 8-1, 15-2, ridiculous. And because of the place terms, 5 and 6 places that the bookmakers are paying, this is why I made it. This is my best bet of the week. So it's a wanker bet, 1.5 points each way because of the place terms. Unless this horse has bellyache, this is not going to be out of the 6 or 5. No chance. So Streets of Gold, plough in, folks, and enjoy. That's my 3 points to kick off the round. Andy, coming to you.
I don't know. What do you get if we're a triple klaxon? Because you know where I'm going.
Is this Salcombe? Yeah, obviously.
Well, it sort of is. It sort of is. I've had to go a little bit wankerish here. Not each way on that, because there's another one I really fancy in the race as well. But Salcombe, yeah. I mean, can I just read you what I wrote about Salcombe last time out? I write a weekly column, which has been pretty successful this year. It's all based around horses which run well against the bias. Obviously, our friend Salcombe did last time out, and I've been following him ever since you boys putting him up. But I put moving forward to Wednesday, the opening 3-year-old handicap has been won by some smart types of the last 10 years, notably subsequent Group 1 winner Pether's Moon in 2013, as well as Group 2 winners Dartmouth in 2015 and Sir Ron Priestley in 2019. This year's winner Secret State could well be in the same mode, with entries in the Great Voltigeur at York and the St Leger, a race that Godolphin / Charlie Appleby hold a very strong hand in now. Once again, it paid to be on or near the pace, and 4th place Salcombe hardly helped his cause with a slow start, a common trait in all his outings bar one, which is just something to watch out for. And then having to contend with a rather staccato gallop, with which to quicken into the race off, and that's never easy. The winner of his 2 previous races traded above his Betfair starting price on both occasions. There's no doubt this son of Frankel is a talented individual, and he's likely to stay further and look far more capable of a strong gallop. I'm certain there's more to come from him. It's not stretching the imagination to suggest it will play a big part in the Melrose this year. His trainer, William Haggis, the shirt, has had success in winning the Junior Ebor in 2012 and most recently in 2019 with Hamish. Don't think I need to say any more, lads, because I think you've said it already. So Salcombe is half of the 3 points. And the other half that I want to use up on the other 3 points is on the person who has won it the last 2 years, Andrew Balding, who runs Soul Stopper. He's won it with Coltrane in 2020 and Valley Forge in 2021.
So just to interrupt you, Andy, if that wins, that will stop mine and John's souls.
Probably. I think it might be the first triple one. I was sitting here chuckling when you were sort of putting it up there. I was like, oh shit, what are we going to do here? But I'm not stopping, and I've always had this horse in mind. But the Soul Stopper I've had in mind as well. I mean, if he didn't win any of his 3 races last term, but he was only beaten a neck by the anti-post favourite for the St Leger New London over 10 furlongs at Newmarket last autumn. I think he's been much better since he's been gelded this horse. I mean, the race he won last time out was a tin pot race, but the trainer's got such a good record in this race. I couldn't leave him out, so I'm going to split my 3 points. I have, like yourself, already backed Salcombe, and I will be backing Soul Stopper as well. So 1.5 points on each. Nice little split slate betting. Possibly, I think it's probably one of, if not my favourite flat race of the year, along with my good friend Lydia Hislop at the Melrose. So 1.5 points on each, Salcombe and Soul Stopper.
Cracking stuff, Andy. So we have a tremendous klaxon, absolute.
I don't know what that is it?
I can't remember all panelists tipping the same horse on a shirt. The producers nodded. Oh yeah, I can actually. We did it. Yes, it happened once before. Thank you, producer. It happened once before. Myself, John, and Fry tipped it. It was Drop the Anchor that won at 10-1 at the left. Do you remember it, John? Yeah. So the last time that happened was Drop the Anchor, and that won at 10s. The JP.
No pressure then.
So there we go. So Salcombe, fuck Soul Stopper. Fuck you. It's Salcombe. It's Salcombe all the way.
I'm going to do the forecast as well.
Yeah. So I love this. Brilliant stuff. Now, it's his home track. He loves this meeting, does John. John, your field goal for the week.
I think this is fairly straightforward, to be honest. It's in the 4:10 on Thursday, the Goltree Stakes. And sadly, it's another one for the shirt, Golden Lira. I think this one looks far and away the one with most potential in this race. It's a powerful yard. He's got plenty of fillies he could have targeted at the race. This one has the potential to rate much higher, I think. Plenty of these need to improve to catch her up. And as I say, I think she's going to go forward at a rate of knots this autumn. I was very impressed with her debut last year when she looked far from the finished article. And then when she ran behind Stay Alert at Newbury, I thought she looked dreadful. To say she was heavily back 5-4 favourite, whether she'd had a growth spurt or what, but there was daylight in all the wrong places. She looked angular, and she really pulled together after that race. This will not just win. I think this will win impressively. 3 points win. Wow.
Yeah. So you looked at her at Newbury, John, in the Abingdon. That formerly the Ballymacall, a friend of yours, Peter Reynolds. I was impressed by the winner that day, Stay Alert, but that did a lot right. Golden Lyra still sent like a project, if you like, but it's just so that was the day you noted her that she didn't look that right to you.
I was amazed she was the price she was, to be honest, because normally they don't miss. Well, I mean, usually when Agatha horses are solidly backed, they look the part, they act the part in a race. This didn't look the part. Ran very immaturely, was changing her legs a lot. She really didn't know the time of day. I get that because I think she looked all over an Oaks filly as a 2-year-old, and I get the impression with her not getting going till later this year that he's probably had to back off her a bit. Whether she's had a growth spurt or what, I don't know, but she looked the type that had sort of grown in some wrong areas, if you like, and lost her shape a bit. And then saying at the time after, I thought, well, that's done her well to good. I mean, obviously she had to waltz up in that. But I think this autumn she could be a serious filly, and I think she'll absolutely hammer these.
Love this, John. Love it. Absolutely love it. I love your angle. Obviously, what I think when you mention, especially something to do with physicality with horses, paddock appearance and stuff. I've not seen anyone finer in the game. I'm not blowing smoke up you much, but I do respect what you say. So Golden Lyra, that's interesting for the Galtrees, because this year that the Galtrees probably for most people listening to this pod or working out, it's probably one of the most difficult races to solve at York. There's a lot of unexposed fillies, and with you sort of like confidently striding forward, I think that that would sway me no end to back Golden Lyra. So 3 points at 3-1, John, on the nose. Love it. Love the nap and love the reasoning. Brilliant, John and Andy. I absolutely love discussing the best bets there. Some really good selections, really good. I've got a confident feel this year for us. So I appreciate both your contributions so far. We'll go on to previewing some of the big races. Then we'll finish the show with discussing, any other bits, any interesting bits. Because I know Andy's always got lots of interesting sort of statistics and stuff, and other fancies that we might have put in the 3 but didn't quite make it, etc. But we'll look at the big races first, because I know that a lot of you will be looking forward to this meeting, thinking, right, what do they think in the big race or this race? So we'll go on the Wednesday. We'll look at the Voltigeur first of all, which I think is a really, really poor Voltigeur. I thought Secret State to be favourite. He's, says it all really. Had the run of the race. Ascot had the run of the race at Goodwood last time. Thoughts on the Voltigeur, chaps?
I was really interested in Acal, given the improvement for going up to 10. I thought there was further improvement to come at 12. But when I was interested in Acal, he was 10-1 before the weekend. He's 7-2 now. I just couldn't be asked with a bet in the race, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, like Walk of Stars, I've always thought would be a very nice horse, but obviously temperaments held him back.
He held him again, didn't he?
Yeah, we said he needs gelding twice. But it's a if the ground had come up a little bit softer, I'd have said El Bodygon. It's a bit an insulting price at 14-1 because third in a French derby. It was second in a French derby to Verdeni, and then third to an Esther when conditions were fairly quick that day as well at Longchamp. They give it out as good to soft. It wasn't good to soft. They were nearly hitting standard. So it was probably nice ground, and it ran fairly well. You know, I don't think El Bodygon should be probably that sort of price in what looks a weak-looking Dante.
If you were in late, wouldn't you be sending him to Germany and running him in the grocer price von Baden?
Baden von Munchausen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's tailor-made for it, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. John, this is it. I mean, I don't know what goes through the mind of these people. I mean, but then again, James Ferguson's probably come in and thought, well, there's thunderstorms forecast, this, that, and they're probably absolutely sick that we've had no rainfall. And I sit here right now, and I look outside. There's still no rain. They keep predicting rain tonight, but it's yet to materialise.
We'll send him a jar of Alex after the Ebor.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll see what happens on that. But yeah, El Bodygon might just be a bit insulting at 14. Andy, any view on this?
I thought the same as you. The price on just always heavily price influenced in my own prices, which I still do. Although I tend to factor in sort of things like run styles, etc., which makes them look a bit strange sometimes, but are very useful for in-running betting and stuff like that. And relating, prices to run styles. I thought he was, but it's just the ground that slightly puts me off. He might get away with it. ICAL, I know they got held up in the spring with him, and they obviously couldn't run him. And I think it would probably left a little bit short when he went to Ascot. Secret State, obviously, we'd like to see him win for the fact that it would bolster
absolutely,
pieces of form. But it wasn't a race that I was desperate to get involved in. I'd be happy to watch it. I suppose if I was going to have a small play, I might take a chance on El Bodygon, as you say. The price is it's out of line to my way of thinking.
Yeah. I'd be quite happy to chuck a bullseye at El Bodygon, watch the race and eat a pork pie or something like that. Anyway, on to the Juddmonte International, a race that it's one of my favourite races in the calendar. I mean, sometimes we have competitive fields, other times we don't. This is probably one of the times we don't, and it's interesting to see this week the racing post pundits and writers are kind of against Baid and trying to tip up Mishriff and things like that. The problem I've got here is Mishriff might just be developing a bit of temperament. He missed the break at Sandown when second to Vedeni, a very unlucky loser. He missed the break badly last time. And that's usually a horse that's maybe had one or two many battle scars. And, this horse has had some hard races in his career so far. Maybe he's finally thinking, I'm a bit bored with this. So the problem with this race for me is, if you take 4-9 Baid, it will be a bad bet if Mishriff doesn't miss the break, but it will be a tremendous bet if Mishriff misses it by 8. So it's a tricky, there's no point advising a bet because, as I said, the 4-9 won't be very appealing if Mishriff comes out, because we know Mishriff can run to, 124, 125, Baid's 128. So where's the value in 4-9? So especially at his first try at 1.25 miles. So there's two ways of looking at it, but how can you back Mishriff on his last two efforts, chap?
I don't think you can.
I mean, the problem is you're watching, you're nerved up at the stalls. The last two starts for me say that Mishriff maybe just be falling out of love with the game. I'm a harsh critic because I backed Mishriff in the Eclipse. I couldn't believe the price of 7-1. I thought, how is this 7? And it would have won with any kind of ride and run. It would have won. But again, missed the kick, and then it was terrible at Ascot. It really did lose a lot of ground. That to me that's a horse saying, I can't be arsed. And to be taking, then you're against the best horse in the world currently in Baid. I don't know what's right or wrong. It's one of them. Like I say, you take 4-9 Baid. If Mishriff breaks, your 4-9 looks terrible. that it probably should be 4 to 6, 8 to 11 Baid if Mishriff comes out. If Mishriff doesn't come out, then Baid's 1 to 7, 1 to 8, 1 to 9. It's bellyache time. So it's a bit of a boring race for me. Thoughts, chaps?
I got a couple. I did read just to give a big up to someone I follow on Twitter, the bearded jockey. He's written a very good piece on it. I think if you you look up the bearded jockey or at the bearded jockey on Twitter, to Baid or not to Baid, and that's probably one of the best pieces I've read this week. Better than some of the trash in the Racing Post, anyhow. And it's a balanced argument, and he sort of comes down on the side of a fascinating one of high definition. Although he's stronger on Native Trail, but like you, Lee, mentions Mishriff and not. I think if I was going to play in the race, I'd probably be able to delve into the without favourite market. And surely then the play is to lay Mishriff in that market and keep Native Trail and high definition on your side.
But yeah, because if that does an Amlet advert and it comes out 30 lengths behind this time, like you say, you've got an absolutely brilliant bet. So like everything then becomes value. That's why Mishriff, I think, it involves, if Mishriff completely just misses it and can't be asked, then everything in the race is value, everything. So I agree. I like his points. Yeah, I haven't read it.
Read that piece. It's very well put together, very readable. Take you about 5 minutes to read it. Makes some very good points. Thoroughly recommend it. Always like to read other people's views or sensible other people's views, and this certainly is. And I thought it sort of made me think, and I thought, well, there's a way of getting into this race. And I think if you're looking at the without favourite market with bookmakers, and there is already a without favourite market, without Baid market, I should say, on it's about 4. Yeah, Mishriff is about 7 to 4 on with the books, and 9 if you wanted to be a backer, you could be 9 to 4 with Native Trail and about 16's high definition. So interesting one there. See how it works out. But sometimes you don't want to look in the obvious markets. You want to look in the sort of the suboptimal markets, and that's probably the way I'd look at it. If you wanted to oppose Mishriff, you don't want to be laying him at 5, 6 to 1 in the win market, but laying him without Baid is probably, if he does go and technically finish second or win the race, it's a lot less painful.
Indeed. John, your thoughts?
There's 27 other races. You don't need to be piddling about deciding whether else he's going to jump or not.
No, it's pork pie. It's pork pie pit and Pinot Grigio, £8 a bottle stuff. Duck liver and orange pate, Scotch eggs, Greg's sausage rolls. That kind of snack. That kind of snack race.
Actually, I'm bringing some Scotch eggs down, freshly made today at Myrtle Butcher's.
You'll be in bigger than Giacomo soon.
We're in trouble this week. Okay, right. So we move on to Thursday. We've got obviously it's Darley Yorkshire Oaks, but we'll have a look at the Lowther and the Yorkshire Oaks on the Thursday. The Lowther, I just think it's cut and dried. I would have preferred a better draw than one for dramatised. It's boring. I can't advocate a bet. It's 11 to 10. She's 11 to 10, but Carl Burke's made no secret about her. She's the best, the quickest filly he's ever had. The quickest. He even said the quickest he's ever had. So I can't really waste time opposing her. Thoughts?
Same.
Andy?
2-year-old. I only like 2-year-olds in nurseries, so.
Yeah.
that's it. I like 2-year-old handicaps, I like, but the rest of it, I'll watch them. But the one thing would be, is she install one?
Yeah.
I really don't like. I really hate that draw at York on a straight track. I really dislike that draw. I just think I get horribly isolated from it. It's not a good draw. If she was sort of 4-5 to 1, I'd be prepared to take a chance, or a sprint handicapper. But 11 to 10, no thanks. As John says, there's 27 other races, so I can afford to leave this one alone.
Agreed. And for those of you opposing dramatised at the prices, you've got the hope that obviously she's up in trip, and if she's a lot of daylight, she's used to running at 5 furlong paces, now 6 furlongs. Though to be fair, she has been very strong at the end of her races over 5, so I don't see a problem there. But like Andy says, I would have not preferred. I would have loved a middle draw where she can just take a lead, and then come through. So yeah, we'll probably give that a pork pie race as well. The 3:35
bigger than Giacomo. So.
Yeah, we're getting bigger. We're getting big. We're going to get big as the week goes on. And 3:35 York is the Darley Yorkshire Oaks. This is a good race, really. So like sometimes these races you can have a 1 to 5 favourite, and it's nice to see that the field is full of fillies. We've got a French challenger in Raclette that was promising last year and obviously wanted a trip. She's improved, but I'm not sure she's up to this standard. La Petite Coco was on my short list, but the quick ground might be a worry there. That'd be the quickest she's run on. I was against Magical Lagoon because I don't think she's any good. In terms of this level. Tuesday, I thought was a bit of value into over Magical Lagoon because I think she's a better filly. I think the Oaks win is better form. I know Emily Upjohn disappointed in the King George, but that aside, I prefer the 3-year-old fillies this year to the Colts. So I'm not that obsessed that the 3-year-olds are no good. I think Tuesday is a bit of value at 92. An Alpinista, that's obviously the European Globetrotter, really good mare. She sets the standard at 2s. Any thoughts here, chaps?
Well, it's a fascinating contest, isn't it? I mean, there's 4 last time out winners. 3 of them were at Group 1 level and 1 at Group 2. So I don't think you can moan about the quality.
No, it's brilliant.
That is a really good race. I mean, Tuesday must be as tough as old boots. I mean, she had 5 races earlier in the year, 4 classics between the 27th of March and the 25th of June. I mean, good on her having a bit of holiday with the hooves up. I should think she probably needs it. I think, her form is pretty decent. I'm fascinated by this La Petite Coco with Paddy Toomey. He also holds he has the favourite with the Ebor favourite as well. His strike rate is off the charts.
The carrots.
The
carrots. You've got some quality carrots.
Yeah, it's one of those races you sort of want to get involved with, but at the same time you want to watch and enjoy. Does that sound a little bit strange?
No.
I find more and more these days that I can... that more and more of my punting is done at a sort of lower, the lower level stuff, and the bigger races I just like to sit and enjoy sometimes. And like you, Magical Lagoon would have a little bit of a question mark. The one I find myself drawn to is La Petite Coco, but again, the ground just slightly worries me. Tuesday's probably the value if you could get 9 to 2, but again, it's not a race. It's a race that I could enjoy without having a bet.
Indeed. Lenger, what are we saying?
Well, since Paddy Toomey sacked his gardener and got Penn and Teller to grow his fucking carrots, he's ridiculous.
At least he's not been down the butcher's shop, eh?
You crack me up, mate. You do. Absolutely. Paddy Toomey. I mean, hats off.
It's a nice horse, isn't it? I mean,
she really tries, does the Coco.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you get to this stage of the season, some of these fillies are starting to spring a lake a bit. I think she'll just keep going. If I had a bet in the race, which I don't think I will, but if somebody put a gun to me head, I think I'd back La Petite Coco.
Yeah, no, I see that in the price. Like I said, mentioned Tuesday, an Oaks heroine at 9 to 2, maybe a little bit underestimated considering the strength of Emily Upjohn in the market in the King George. A better race than this.
I think while that race is running, I'll be down the pre-parade making sure there's a lot less daylight around Golden Lyra than there was.
Yeah, you'll have to see if you can spot Adam Norman and keep him in check.
Oh gosh, yeah, because if you look to the part, we know what can happen there, don't we? He'll be over the railings with his pants around his ankles.
Absolutely, yeah.
The dirty bastard.
And coming on to the Nunthorpe.
He'll be there Friday, won't he?
Yes, coming on to the Nunthorpe. On the Friday, we've got an interesting encounter. Royal Acclaim, favourite for James Tate after, and this. I mean, I've spoke to several sort of, like work watchers and contacts and nudge wink merchants, and they're all saying James Tate is just waxes lyrical about this filly. He says she's just the best ever, and that's why she's gone off the price last time and very well bet in the listed race, and also this is why she's probably 6-4 favourite. He's saying she's just different class. However,
also went off that price because Tim's horse is deader than fucking Dillinger.
I know, right? So I want to ask you, because if Tim's wasn't by Bungle in the Jungle, which they tend to regress with age, the Bungle in the Jungles, Tim is adamant that she comes better at this time of year, but I spotted Ascot earlier. I thought she looked dead. Do we agree she's dead?
Physically, she's a better filly this year. She looks better. She looks stronger. Yeah, she's got a better shape to her. But her performances on the track have been dire.
Interesting. Because it's one of them. I mean, look at the price: 20-1 about a horse that absolutely pissed up in this last year. Absolutely pissed up.
It goes Sharpo off the boil all season and then shags up in an Nunthorpe.
Do you know what? I don't think if she's going to be 20s, you have to have a bullseye on her, because everyone can see with their eyes and say, well, she doesn't look anything like the filly she was last. I agree, she looks terrible this year on her performances. But if this pops up at 20s, a track that suits her down on the ground, who knows? The fillies are fillies, and if this came back all of a sudden, you'd be saying after the race, how did we not have a bullseye on this at 20s? Because
on the other side of the coin as well, if James Tate's horse gets stuffed, you're going to be if you backed it, you're going to be sat there kicking yourself up the arse. So well, it only beat fucking Mondamage.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, exactly that. Look at the form. He's beat Mondamage, a sprint handicapper.
You're absolutely buying into the hype with this horse.
Talking of Mondamage, I see he's running this week.
Yes. In the opening race tomorrow, Mondamage Anthony is firing it out for the 77th. Yeah. This will beat Chaplin's club's record, I think, for number of racecourse appearances. But yeah, Platinum Queen though in the race
on the fucking ambulance, isn't it?
Platinum Queen, 2-year-old angle into the race. Can this be the first 2-year-old to win the Nunthorpe since Kingsgate Native in 2007?
Favour for me.
Well, look, listen. Her figures
to be fair, there's only been 4 running it since. There's about 4 running it since then, haven't there?
There's been a few. I can tell you a few. Kingsgate Native, Radiohead was 3rd, Dinkum Diamond was 7th, Stone of Falco was 11th, Requinto was 13th, Acapulco
was second. For old
that was
Wesley.
Yeah,
I remember that coming second. I went fucking loco.
Yeah. Yalta, Prince of Lear, and Chipotle. 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 That annoys me.
So Platinum Queen is actually only the 5th horse to try since 2012. Then.
Yes.
She's rated up in 6. How much did it cost them to supplement? Was it about 40 grand?
It would have been around that. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, right, I wouldn't rule out this horse. The reason why, I think the weight for age is very fair. Obviously,
stone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
20 pounds.
22 pounds.
Yeah, 22.
And her figures aren't that far behind Dramatised. And I was sort of like secretly urging Carl Burke to run Dramatised in this, because I felt Dramatised would win the Nunthorpe if she'd have turned up with the weight for age. But he's gone for what he feels is a penalty kick in the Lowther. In a week Nunthorpe field. I don't think this is a vintage Nunthorpe, obviously. So I think Platinum Queen is really in there with the Doyler. Could be a big week for Midland Park. This, they've got the Fav in the sales race. They've got a 3-1 chance in the Nunthorpe. Could be an enormous week for the Midland Park rabble. Interesting stuff. Any other thoughts on that race?
No, race I sort of would enjoy. I'm fascinated by the Platinum Queen. It was 40 grand the supplementary fee to get in there. So depending on the prices, I sort of have a look at her and see it is a big, weight for age it's a hell of a lot, isn't it? £22.
It is.
Interesting.
It is
interesting.
It is indeed. Right, we move on to then the Gimcrack, which I think is a fabulous Gimcrack. If a lot take part, I think this is one of the best Gimcracks we've seen in a while. The front three in the betting, Noble Style, Royal Scotsman, and Marshman, right, are absolutely cock solid. Basically, they're taking out 58% of the market, which is what, just nearly 4 to 6, 8 to 11, 4 to 6. Well, I'll tell you what, right? I will take 8 to 11, 4 to 6, those three, and you can have 6 to 4, the rest of the rabble in that. That is value. 8 to 11, the front three in the market, 4 to 6. There's no other winner than them three in the Gimcrack. Prove me otherwise, chaps.
I can't.
I wouldn't want to.
No, exactly. Sometimes,
my only wish would be that John would own the winner of the Gimcrack so he could make the speech.
Imagine John's speech.
If I was king for a day, you see, I'd wish John a Gimcrack winner, preferably at a large price so we could all lump on, and then he could make the Gimcrack speech, which would be a classic.
Do you know, Andy, I once said to Peter Reynolds, I said, if you've ever got one quick enough for the Gimcrack, I said, give me 5% of it the night before. And he said, if I had one quick enough for the Gimcrack, he said, I'd let you make the fucking speech.
I'd pay to be there.
Yeah, no, that'd be brilliant. Anyway, there's no what's his face?
I agree. That is a good Gimcrack. Royal Scotsman, Noble Style, Marshman was so impressive, wasn't he?
Massive sectional grade. That's got gears. So you have them three, and then you can. Who's back in field at 6 to? That's what I mean. The market is miles out. Like lay me forward. I'll have a 6,000 win for them three, and you can have 6 to 4. The rest of the Rammel, Persian Force, all that Rammel, the early season 2-year-old Rammel. You can have all that. There, that's where we're at. I think in the Gimcrack. Okay, we'll come on to Saturday. We've got the Ebor and the City of York stakes. I want to look at. City of York, massive prize. Fair play to York for this.
They're trying to get this to Group 1, aren't they?
Yeah, 400. Yeah, because we do need a 7 furlong Group 1. We do. We really do.
Yeah.
And I love £400,000 guaranteed, 226,000 the winner. What fantastic money on offer. The field's good. Yeah, it's solid. Obviously, it's not Group 1. But it's good. It's a good field. Thoughts on this, chaps?
I think it's significant that the shirt's going with Sacred rather than Sensory Jody.
Yeah.
By the look of things, and I think Sacred's tailor-made for this, to be honest.
Yeah. You'd like to see. The problem is, you'd like to see it draw, wouldn't you? Like just.
It's not going to be a huge fail, is it?
No, there's 11 declared. Probably they're not all going to run, are they? So, you 8 or 9 maybe.
For me, it's a recent thing. This about the draw. I mean, you go back 10 years. If there was 10 runners around 7 at York, you wouldn't give a shit what box you were in.
No, you won't. No, agree, John.
But then again, they could ride them, couldn't they? So.
And they.
If it was a bit of rain or one of these thunderstorms hit, I quite like Kinross. I think he's a smashing horse.
I love Kinross.
But I just think that he probably needs a little bit more give underfoot than he's going to get. Since he's been gelded, he seems to be a different horse. Could do that for a few people, couldn't you?
Yeah,
Have a list. I've got a list. I've got a sort of mythical bus that I would like to put people on and drive over a cliff. But there's a fair few on it. It's a double decker, and I think I've filled the first one up now. But I was thinking the other day maybe another way would be geld people. I see John's point about Sacred Sandra. It's a super race. Even I don't think we're going to get everyone turn up there, but I say if there was a little bit of precipitation, I would be prepared to take a chance on King Ross.
Okay, last race before we go into like any other business that you sort of found interesting that didn't make the list is the Ebor. I think Earl of Tyrone is the right fav. I think, like obviously we already touched on Paddy Toomey and the Carrots. This horse is going forward. Nothing not to like. It is the right fav, without a doubt. I do like John's analogy on license. An analysis on that. Where are we going with the Ebor? Any interesting stats, Andy? Any views?
I've got a load. I can sort of. Well, there's actually only been seven winners older than 5 since 1979. So I don't think you want to. The old gits are probably out here. 14 of the last 16 winners came from a double-figure draws. There's only Litigant who came from stall 6 in 2015 and Voltigeur from stall 2 in 2019. That's
interesting. Yeah.
Near the exceptions to that. So don't let a particular. They've got a fair bit of time to get themselves sorted out. 5 of the last 13 winners were won by claiming jockeys, actually. So looking for people to take a bit of something out there. 25 of the last 30 winners had a top 2 finish on either of their last 2 starts. So you probably need something in pretty decent form. They're the sort of main ones. There's actually only been 2 favourites since 1998. Purple Moon and Fujiwara Prince, 2008 and 2020. So there's a few little bits of information, few sort of stats. 13 of the last 14 winners were age 4 to 6, and 10 of the last 12 were age 5 to 6. So 4 to 6 is the sweet spot, and you're probably going to need about 103 to get you in. Which fortunately, John's early long range tip license, which I did manage to burgle a bit of 50s and 40s and 33s on, will run.
Yes, absolutely. 16s currently. So yes. John's done the business here. John, your thoughts on the Ebor right now with your anti-pose tip, and any extra thoughts on the race?
I nearly put him in my 3.
Yeah.
I couldn't back anything else in the race, to be honest.
No, I mean, I love your confidence on it. And we said at the time of that Leopardstown race, in fact, like I said, I don't usually watch races back over and over again, but it's like I said, the more you watch it, the more you think that was an absolute spin at Leopardstown. I think this is primed.
I think we could have an Irish 1-2. I'm going to mix a few exotics on our friends from the Emerald Isle here, because I do fancy another one as well. It's a horse I wrote up in the same column as I wrote Solcombe up a while ago, a horse called Akita Sushi, who got an absolutely hopeless ride last time out in a joke race. It's for the baby Joseph. He's got entries in the Irish St Leger, the Long Distance Cup, the Irish Cesarewitch, the Melbourne Cup, the Scrabble World Championships, and the Olympic Games at the moment. But he hasn't run that much, and I thought he ran a fantastic race. He ran a really good race. That Copper Horse Handicap, that new 3-year-old race they introduced at Royal Ascot. He ran a really good race in that, and that was where I wrote him up out of that in that particular race. And I think he's the race he ran in last time out. Go and watch it. It was just an absolute joke race. It was. They let the winner go. It was ridden by amateurs. And they were certainly amateurs. They just gave him far too much to do. But he ran in that Copper Horse Handicap last time. The horse who won it was Get Shirty. But that race, I think, that race that I'm talking about, he won the first running of that Copper Horse Handicap was won by a subsequent Ebor winner in Fujiwara Prince. And it just looks as though that long York Straight will be right for his sort of wind-up style. So I'm in a good position on licence. So I'll certainly be mixing whatever other Irish horses get in, and a bet on and certainly a bet on Akita Sushi as well for the boys boys from the Emerald Isle to stuff us once again in our big handicaps.
Good stuff, Andy. Right, okay. We're going to come on to the last part of the show, which is just basically discussing anything that didn't quite make the list. I'll kick us off. Just the one bet that could have made the list but didn't, for me, was in the 5:20 at York, the last race on the card. It's the Marner Quarter race. The 3-year-old Phantom Flight. James Horton, former assistant Sir Michael Stout, now obviously trains for John and Jess Dance, and this horse shaped extremely well behind New London at Newmarket in what was a very good handicap, and it was very unlucky. He'd short of room, he was struggling for a run, and he came on really well. You could argue that on trips, he was up there with New London, and we've seen what New London's come out and done since that. Obviously beat Dover Legend in the Gordon Stakes. So that would put me on Phantom Flight very strongly for that York handicap to finish the cards. Obviously, there's no price, there's no bookies are betting on it at the moment, but I would make that favourite for that, obviously, on what that race was. So be interesting to see when the prices come out, chaps.
I actually wrote that one up for the same column from that race, Lee, when he was third at 12.
Yeah,
he got withdrawn he got withdrawn at Royal Ascot, which would have been his handicap debut, wasn't it? In that Golden Gates handicap, when he got a bit upset in the stalls. And then I'll just quickly read you what I wrote there. In this particular race, the first two home, they had the run of the race. The first two home, as you've already mentioned them, that was confirmed by the sectionals. It was a really steady pace. He had to made up his ground into a quickening pace. His last 3 furlong time of 34.64 stacks up well against that of the winner, who was 34.61. And he was making up significant ground in the closing stage. I mean, if you look at that race, he also got slightly hampered when he was pulled out for a challenge. His last furlong time, 12.29, was quicker than the winner, showed him in a very good light, and we haven't seen him since then. Certainly Phantom Flight in that last race. If you're looking one to get out on, if they run it, that might be one.
Good stuff. John Andy then, right? Who wants to go first? Anything that you could have made the list this week?
The first race on the card tomorrow is an absolute minefield. Yes. But there is one, and I've got a stat to go with it as well. It's a Kevin Ryan, the Kevin Stott horse. Was it Gives a Sub? And Kevin Ryan's won that a couple of times. He's actually in first time cheap piece. They ran him in the Commonwealth Cup last time out, this horse, and when Ryan and Stott team up in handicaps and they put cheap pieces on them first time, they have got a really good record together, which, if you just bear with me a moment, I will call up for you, because it's been quite a decent one over the years. I think he's got quite a good draw as well, but it is an absolute minefield. Their record together, Stott and Ryan in handicaps, first time cheap pieces, 10 from 40, which is a 25% strike rate. As anyone who knows me well, I think strike rates are complete and utter bollocks, because you have to look at the winners above expected figure and put that into context. That is a positive 5.3, and if you back them all at SP, you'd be winning 53 points. So I think Gives a Sub might be worth a little bit of a punt in the first tomorrow.
Good stuff. Gives a Sub. What prices are we looking at, Andy? Have you seen any prices?
No, he's in the first. I'm just looking. Have a quick look on Betfair now.
33 is double carpet.
Yeah,
33.
Probably get 30. Yeah, there's a pound there at 34 on Betfair, and I imagine that somebody like Sky Bet or Bet3, Bet Denise will be betting down to about 8 places or something on that. So. Might be. He's actually quite nicely drawn in stall 7.
Yeah, good stuff, Andy. 33.
Could just be a little bit. It's been a good while since he last won. But so the old cheeky's on. one of those things. Stott and Ryan handicap first time cheap pieces. They've got a decent record of 10 from 40 is not too bad, and they generally trade pretty well as well. They haven't they've only done it twice this year. They've actually both horses finished fifth, but they both traded pretty well. They did it with that rogue, the Cookstown Cafu at Thirst last Friday, and that also win a race, but probably when he wants to.
Yes, good stuff, Andy. John, any extras for you this week that could have made the list?
At risk of grinding everybody's gears, the first race tomorrow, as you probably wouldn't be surprised, the King of Northallerton, our friend Mr. McIver, was on the phone as soon as the declarations came out, asking me for my opinion on the race and would I get stuck into it and tell him what I thought was likely dangers, likely winners, whatever. And when I'd completed my work, I came out with this, that Nomadic Empire, on the face of it, looks like a horse out of form, but the bare numbers only tell half the story. The race last time was a mess. He switched far side from a near side draw when middle to far side was where all the action was. But he travelled up lovely in the manner of a horse ready to peak. The key race is the listed event he ran in at Haydock behind Clockwatcher's horse, Rassel, along with King of Stars. He was too prominent that day, and checking out King of Stars' subsequent efforts, he's acquitted himself quite well since then when given the chance. So that points to their efforts in that race being the right sort of form. He started his season on 103. He's now down to 95. Lee, you put him up off 103 at the May meeting. So what's not to like here with a likely pace collapse on the cards off 95?
And the other thing, right? Listen to this, with a likely pace collapse, folks, and everyone. There's a northeasterly tomorrow of 15 mph. So that's 3/4 headwind. And so you don't want to be blasting off.
There's another one as well for a mental forecast, if you like. Count D'Orsay is another that will benefit from the pace collapse if it happens. His draw's a bit wingy, if you like. He's a little bit towards the stand side. But the thing here, he's reunited for the first time in about 5 runs with Thick Dave. And that will not hurt. Thick Dave rides this horse superbly. He knows he needs a long fell at halfway, and he picks him up back onto the bridle at halfway every time he rides him. If he bombs out here, make sure you back him the minute to take him to Haydock. It suits him better than his mother's milk.
Love it. Absolutely love that. I love tremendous analysis on that sprint race from you two. Brilliant to finish off.
And there's another one in that who's like the door. That's Zarzini, isn't it?
Zarzini.
Yeah.
The only other one I would mention that I've backed is one I've backed in the Acom, and that is Ed Bethel's Oviedo. I'm conscious of the fact that Jane Chaplin's probably got quite a good horse in there. I think this is a really, really nice horse. Travelled supremely well on debut at Doncaster. The variant horse is reasonably highly regarded. Never looked like getting near him. This thing cantered to the front at Doncaster. Ed Bethel wouldn't be wanting to tilt at Windmills. He's got him in the Champagne Stakes and the Dewhurst. I have sneakily took 16 to 1 though. I don't think there's anything like that still available.
No, 12 to 1 best as it stands. Good stuff, chaps.
If you want a narrative throughout the week, what about the Kilt stable now nearing 5,000 winners in Great Britain?
Well, they won't be adding to it this week.
He's four short now, isn't he? That'll give ITV something to concentrate on, won't it?
Well, yeah. Last shot on Saturday night if they're all at York.
Yeah, fuck the Kilt. Yeah, we're not Kilt fans on this show.
No.
We're going to finish at that. Fantastic show, chaps. Honestly, some brilliant analysis. He's worthy of better than the Bastards. That isn't totally shit podcast. But that's all from us for this show. We hope you enjoyed it and have a fantastic York Ebor meeting. That's all from us. Bye for now.